Okay, week 12, practice 12. Are you guys ready? This is like the culminating, the final, are you ready? I can't screw this up. I can't screw this up. So I want to give you a little nugget of what happened with the client and then what kind of came through that God was speaking to me. And of course, just this week, as I'm preparing for this week's Bible study. But she was talking about some of the issues that she has with her hold on one second, her daughter and uh I don't know why I can't mute people today. Um anyway, uh oh, they're already muted. That's why I can't mute them. Okay. So some problems she was having with her grandchildren in relationship to the relationship she has with her daughter and her grandchildren and all the things. And I started just talking to her about having boundaries. And when we know we're loved, it's easier to have a boundary with our children because now I'm not navigating the relationship with my kids in order to be liked by my kids. Because when I know I'm loved, I set a boundary. And if my kid's not happy, that's not about me. That's about the boundary and my kid, right? So when I'm loved, I navigate life differently. But so many of us were raised with parents that were trying to control our behavior or trying to control if we liked them. And so what it did was it programmed us that we actually can't trust our parents to take care of us because we were more in control than they were, right? And it was really easy for me to talk to this client about like boundaries and why and what and how it creates safety for kids and all these things. And then out of nowhere, I'm driving along and God says, you know, that is the root of your deepest fear is that you're more powerful than me. Because if you didn't think you were more powerful than me, what would there be to be afraid of? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah. And so I love this practice because it says, I can't screw this up. It doesn't matter how much free will I exercise, I can never be more powerful than God. I can never thwart the plans of God. I can never do anything to step outside of the confines that God has already put in place before the foundations of the earth. I can't, right? Not able, right? Not willing, not shouldn't, not couldn't, not cannot, unable. And that, guys, when we recognize God being a good God, should give us so much peace and the settledness of our availability for surrender. So let's get started. Job 42:2. God can do all things. God can do all things. Do we all agree? God can do all things. No plan of his can be stopped. No plan of his can be stopped. I'm coming to that. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I want to say this. And I'm like, no, I'm coming to that. Okay, Proverbs 19:21. People make many plans, but it's the Lord's purpose that wins out. I can make all the plans I want. I can be programmed all the ways that the world's going to program me. I can live in my flesh and still, and still, the Lord's purpose wins out. The Lord's purpose wins out. The law, right? Because remember, we can substitute the word Lord for law. The way that the law works, which means before the foundations of the earth, when God put a plan in place for my life, there's nothing that can change the way that the law will let me navigate to not fulfill that purpose. No matter what I do, I cannot cause this life to be screwed up. Proverbs 16:9. We can plan our own course. Guys, we have free will. Go ahead, plan your own motherfucking course. However, but the Lord directs our steps. What does that mean? Guys, sometimes the pain gets so bad, I can't keep doing the old thing. I think I'm choosing, I think I have free will, but the pain is so bad, I can't do the old thing anymore. Do you guys get that? My uh protecting the guilty. I was in a relationship that was physically, emotionally, psychologically abusive. And I would complain about these things that he would do that were so hurtful. And I remember there was a very close person in my life that just kept saying, well, shit or get off the pot. Shit or get off the pot. Just shit or get off the pot. And I couldn't, guys. I couldn't shit or get off. I just sat there with no shit coming out. I could not do the shit or get off the pot. I could not. I kept staying until I couldn't anymore. Until I couldn't anymore. I wanted to go. I also wanted to stay. But once it got to a point where God was like, okay, this is the boundary. The plans I have for you need to come to fruition. Here's the boundary. It's going to get so painful. You're going to be so stuck in this rut. It's going to make you so nutty. You're going to have to do something different. Guess what? I didn't shit or get off the pot for a long time. But guess what? God took care of me anyway. God fulfilled whatever was going to happen in that relationship anyway. Yeah? Now I remember why I write these down instead of leaving them on my phone, like putting them on my phone, because my phone shuts off and then I have to turn it back on. Okay, ready? Isaiah 14:24. The Lord has sworn that what he has planned will happen exactly as he intended. Guys, you're not smarter than God. You're not more powerful than God. You're not better than God. You're not too dumb. You're not too idiotic. You're not too out of control. You're not too far off. You're not too anything. Says right here, guys. Says, are you ready? Lori, you can't screw this up. God has already sworn and put things in place. And it's going to happen exactly as God intended. So guess what? Fear not. Fear not. Anybody know how many times the Bible says fear not? Give it to me.
365.
365 times the Bible says don't fear. And guess what? I'm going to fear if I think I'm more powerful than God. If I think I can thwart the plans of God. If I think that I can go my own way. I can't. I can't, guys. I can't. And then we started here, right, Bridget? Jeremiah 29:11. This is where we started this Bible study. God knows the plans he has for us. They're good to prosper us and give us hope and a future. God's got the plan. The Lord directs our path or our steps. God's already said, I swear, Scout's honor, I'm going to bring this to fruition. Oh my gosh. So all we have to do is ride along. I feel like all we have to do is just like D. We're just in Dee's car. We're just riding along. She's in control. She's got her foot on the gas. She's got her foot on the brake. She's got her hands on the wheel. She's in control. I'm just along for the ride. What if we could actually allow our lives to fall into place that same way? But again, you guys, we don't know why we do the things we do. Remember, Paul said, the very thing I want to do, I don't do. And the very thing I don't want to do, I do. What is this? It's the sin in me. What is sin? Missing the mark. What is missing the mark? Forgetting who we are, forgetting who God is, forgetting that we're loved, forgetting. And God says, girl, I got you. I got you. Like you can't screw this up. There's nothing you can do that puts you outside of my control. So just relax. Just relax. Trust that I'm good, that I have a future for you, right? Ephesians 1:11. Believers are part of God's plan, and God works out everything according to his will. Wait, I'm a part of the plan? Yeah, I'm a part of the plan. Wait a minute. So when I wasn't shitting or getting off the pot, I was still a part of God's plan? Yeah, yeah. And don't worry, because even if you sit there without shitting for the next 10 years, you're still a part of my plan. And I, God, will bring your future that is good and a hope to fruition. Don't worry, you can't screw this up. Fear not, you can't screw this up. Hey guys, I just had a premonition. Are you ready for it? You can't screw this up. That was just a premonition. God just said, Lori, tell them they can't screw it up. Okay. Premonition, is that maybe that's not God talk? I just had a prophetic word, just trying to fit into my circle. I'm feeling slightly sassy today. Can you guys tell? All right. Psalms 138:8. Because up until now, guys, it's like, well, yeah, God's going to fulfill the plan. God's going to fulfill it. God's going to do it. But then he starts speaking to me personally and says, hey, girl, I got a plan for you, a future, a hope. Don't worry. And then guess what? He says in Psalms. And if you're unfamiliar with Psalms, it was written by David. David had a lot of depression stuff. You can tell that through his words in Psalms. He was the guy that was the king. He was the guy after God's own heart. Yet he was an adulterer, a murderer. He had a child with somebody that he wasn't married to, that was married to somebody else. Like, by all accounts, in today's world, we would look at David and go, man, that guy's a douche. Cheated, took someone else's wife, got her pregnant, then killed him so he didn't have to be accountable. We would look at him and go, douche. Guess what? He is who God says he is, not who we say he is. And God says, ah, this is my boy. He is a man after my own heart. Guess why? Guess why? Because even David, adulterer, murderer, can't screw this up. Everything that David did, guess what, guys? He didn't screw it up. Because guess why? Now, David, we look back and we go, oh my gosh, if David was a man after God's own heart, and I'm not murdering people or having people murdered, which I don't know is worse. Because you got to have a lot of planning in the whole let's murder somebody. I mean, like, if you just go up and you're having a bad day and you murder somebody, that, like, okay, rage. And we don't know why we do the things we don't want to do. But he had to pre plan this shit. And he had to conspire with a lot of other people to make sure this dude got killed. But he is who God says he is. And God said, that's my boy. He couldn't thwart my plans. I'm going to use it all. I'm going to use every ounce of what the world would say douche, and I'm going to reveal my glory in him. What? I don't know where it says it, but God's ways are not our ways. God's thoughts are above our thoughts. Guys, when we think we understand, when we think we know something, when we think we know God's plan and heart and character and who he really is, but we can look over at somebody and go, douche. Right now, hear me well. We still have to like function in this physical world. And if somebody's punching you in the face, you don't just say, oh, it's okay. God's going to use this. Keep going. It's okay to go, you're a douche and I'm going to walk away. Right? We still have accountability to take care of the vessel that God has given us that he lives in. Right? I'm not saying be a doormat. But what I'm saying is, if we pass judgment on somebody because of our idea of what is good or bad, right or wrong, or godly or ungodly, that's where we better watch out because guess what else the Bible says? What you judge is what you're doing. Want to know what you're doing? Look at what you judge. What? It works that simply? Yes. Want to know where your subconscious is functioning? Look at what you're judging. Want to know who you think you are? Look at what you're judging. Yeah? Okay, I got off on a little bit of a tangent, guys, but that was good because bring it back in, back to David. Because David wrote this: the Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Now, guys, I love again, I I'm an aspiring linguist, okay? Because I'm going to say this two different ways. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. The purpose that God has for me, he will fulfill it. Guess what else? You guys want to get really funky? You want to swing the pendulum over into the spirit realm, the mystical energy of the gospel. You ready? The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. He'll just do it for me. Because guess what? He's guiding my path. He's guiding my steps. He'll do it for me. I can't screw this up. I, I'm going to not shit or get off the pot. God's going to do this for me. He's going to do something so deep in my heart that I won't be able to keep doing what I'm doing. He's going to do this for me. And then I'm just going to go, I don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know why I couldn't shit or get off the pot for 10 years. And then all of a sudden it was really easy for me to shit or get off the pot. I don't know. Well, okay, yeah, I do. Guess why? Because God will do it for me. Guess why? Because I can't screw this up. Guess why? Because every plan before the foundations of the earth, before he flung the stars into the sky, he already knew the good works that you would fulfill. Guys, we cannot screw this up. It's such good fucking news. It's such good news. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Romans 8:28. We all know this one from Sunday school. God works which things? Some things, part of the things. Wait, what, Catherine? All of the things? Wait, not some of the things? Not the things that I didn't screw up? Wait, not the things that somebody else did that I don't like, that then I contributed to the fuckery of it? Wait, all things? Well, okay, really, let's really define the word all. Should we define the word all, guys? It means all of the things, all of the things, everything, all of the things. So, in the book that we profess to follow in order to live our lives, says, God works all things together for good for those who love him and are called according to what? His purpose. My purpose on this planet is fulfilled in God's purpose. Guys, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Are you ready? You can't screw this up. We can't screw this up. I can't screw this up. Guys, guys, listen. 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 The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Wait a minute. What is his purpose? Well, to bring all things together for good. But wait a minute. What if I didn't shit or get off the pot? Okay. You think that's too much for God? You think God can't use that 10 years of not shitting or not getting off the pot? Think God can't use that? You think God can't use that broken marriage? You think God can't use that wrong decision? You think God can't use that broken relationship with your child, with your parent, with a friend? Do you think God can't use your failed business? Do you think God can't use $400,000 of debt to reveal his glory in your life? What are you, fucking nuts? Guys, we can't screw this up. God will use all things. All things. He will bring all things together for the good, according to whose purpose? My purpose? The plans that I make, the plans that I make up here in Proverbs 19:21 and Proverbs 16:9. Yeah? You mean even those plans that I make that I didn't consult God on, God's going to even use those to bring about his purpose on this planet? Guys, sometimes we have a skewed version of God. We think he's a mean dad or an arrogant dad or a punishing dad. And then we're like, oh, I can't surrender to that. I can't trust that. I got to make sure I don't do the bad things so that I'm not punished. Guys, when we have an skewed version of God, of course these verses are harder to embody. Of course it's harder to not fear. However, I'm going to come back to Romans 12:1 and 2. He asks us to bring this body, this vessel that includes this mind, and offer it as a living sacrifice. That means at any point in time, I can choose to get up. But he says, bring it as a living sacrifice, put it on the altar for me, and then be transformed by the renewing of that mind. Don't be conformed to the world, be transformed because I am who God says I am. And God is who God says he is, not who the church says he is, not who my pastor said he was, right? One of the things that Bridget talked about that we wanted for you guys by the end of this Bible study is a greater ability to discern God's voice. Does the book say, or is that what you were told by a religion or a pastor or a well meaning parent or a well meaning friend? Let's look at Job, right? His friends said a lot of things. His wife was well meaning. Curse God and die. She was well meaning, I promise. She just wanted to see her husband out of pain. She was well meaning. Doesn't doesn't mean she wasn't painting a picture of God that wasn't his character, right? So guys, as we wrap this up with this practice of I can't screw this up. If the thought I'm screwing it up comes into your head, question why you think that. Is that the conformity of the world? Or are you bringing that, laying it down as a living sacrifice before God and going, can you bring this to reality in my heart and my mind and my body? Can you show me what you really meant by this? Can you show me how I've been conformed because I'm ready to be transformed? Lay those things on the altar. Question everything. Why do I believe what I believe? Why do I believe that person and not that person? Where am I at in my development that maybe I needed that then? Because, Catherine, I don't know if you're aware, in this Bible study right now, I'm totally contradicting what I told you earlier in group. Did you notice that? Guess why? Because we have different conversations in the group than we have here. Why? Well, just like Paul said when he was talking to the Corinthians, and he said, you're like babes, you drink milk. There's also meat over here. And I wouldn't publicly talk about some of that meat that we talked about earlier, Catherine, because if I said what I said publicly without really precise, like, uh, explanation, it might confuse people more, right? I don't have the same conversation with my 2-year-old child that I did with, or that I do with my 30-year-old child. Why? Because there's a different level of maturity. There's things I don't put on my public page, but I would definitely talk about if we were in a one-on-one and I would talk to you about you and your heart and what's going on with you. I wouldn't throw that out as a blanket statement because it might not be true for everybody, but it's true for you. So I'm not going to have that same conversation, right? This is going public. If this wasn't going public, I might have said different words, right? Because then we would have been in a place where I could explain it. I could help you understand it. It wouldn't tweak you and maybe send you off in a direction that hurt you. That's discernment of what we share where. Now, that's not being inauthentic. That's actually wise, right? So I encourage you guys, this goes along with discernment, discerning what is love in this moment. Yeah. Yeah. And at the end of the day, guys, we can't screw this up. And here, I'm even going to say this in reference to what I was just saying. Let's just pretend like I accidentally published Catherine and my conversation this morning. I accidentally put it on public social media. And there were some people who were like, "Oh my gosh, I just like I can't even believe she's saying this. This is so confusing and it puts them in a tailspin." Guess what? I didn't screw it up. Somewhere along the way, that was part of God's path for that person. That was part of the purpose in that person's life. Or that was part of the purpose in my life to go, Lori, are you being aware? Are you being mindful? Are you paying attention when you post things and where you post them? Because guys, I can't screw it up. But that doesn't mean, just like Paul says, well, if we can't screw it up, then do we just go sin willy-nilly? I mean, if grace abounds, should we just go be douches everywhere and not care? No. Heck no, you shouldn't do that. It all boils down to our heart condition. Guess what, guys? When I practice that I can't screw this up, I practice a lot of grace and I'm way more mindful because now fear's not taking over my attention when I'm trying to make a decision because I'm not living in the fear of screwing up. I'm just living and trusting that God is guiding my steps because that's what the book says. And I am who he says I am, not anything else. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop the recording and then we'll chat a little bit.